Hello, Captains, and welcome back to Star Trek Online. This is your host, the Doctor / Borg Drone. Welcome to Star Trek Online. Today we are going to review the Priors Satellite Defense System. So what this is a console that was recently released in a featured TFO series called Operation Riposte. That series is now over in Star Trek Online. It was a temporary featured episode series, and you would play it for several weeks, get these TFO commendations, earn them in the event once per day, and then you get 14 of them, and then you're able to get the big reward for playing, and that is this console that we're going to look at today. So the event is now over. No more chances in getting it. It's done and gone. But I did play it myself every day. I got the TFO commendations and I got my reward. So here is what it looks like. This is the satellite right here. It is Console Universal Priors World Elite Defense Satellite. That's the whole name. Very long, but that's what it's called. It says here that when you put it on your ship, and this does go in your ship on a console, any console station, it gives you plus 14.3% directed energy damage and minus 25% weapon power cost just by having it on your ship. So those are the passive abilities. But then when you enable the device, and you do have to activate it when you're in combat, it can only be activated while you're in combat. Unfortunately, it does not work when you're not in combat, and I wish it did. I wish you could launch it before combat starts so that it's ready to be used, but it cannot do that. It has to be enabled only when you're in red alert and you've got somebody targeted and you're in combat. But when you are in that state, then it deploys a turret. It does an area of effect pull. It pulls all the ships together. It does phaser damage. So I'm not quite sure if phaser tactical consoles will buff it or not, but it tends to reason that if you are using a phaser build, you might get more energy damage out of this thing than you normally would. And I am not using phaser energy damage on this character. Or am I? Wait a minute. What am I using on this character? No, I am using phaser. So I am using phaser, and I am buffing for phaser. So that means that my damage that I'm going to be showing from my ship may not be exactly what you're going to get out of your ship with this thing. Okay, so it creates an elite defense satellite for 30 seconds. After 3 seconds, it pulls up to the nearest 10 foes within 10 kilometers for 5 seconds. After 8 seconds, weapons system activate equipped with 2 times omnidirectional phaser arrays with fire at will permanently activated. And that deals a certain amount. I'm not going to say the amount even though it has it there, because in space that's going to be different, and it's going to depend on your build of how much phaser damage it does. It has a 2-minute recharge. Now, I have used this device prior to recording this video. I wanted to try it out and see how it works. And I've found some interesting things about it. Number one, the fact that you can't activate it until you're in combat. Number two, it dies real easily. It can get shot down very quickly, does not have a whole lot of health, or I don't even think it has shields. It gets taken down real easily. Pretty much the biggest advantage of it is the pulling of the enemies together, and then it fires on them. But that doesn't last very long. It's actually very short-lived. You will be surprised how short-lived the thing feels. And then you have a long cooldown time. So it kind of feels like you can't use it a lot in battle. But I'll demonstrate. So the first thing you want to do is to put it on your ship somewhere. I don't want to take off any of my other consoles, so I'm just going to take off a tactical console. I do not recommend doing this, by the way. I recommend keeping all of your tactical consoles of the locate vulnerability locator or the other one. But just for demonstration purposes today, I'm going to remove one of those to put the satellite in there. Okay, so it will take up a console slot, obviously. You'll just have to decide, where's the best place for you to put it. It won't go in a device slot. So it has to be Has to be a actual console slot. Okay, now that it's on the ship, we'll go into space, and you gotta assign a button to it, of course. And then we'll look at the actual damage that I'm doing with my build. Remember, my build is buffing for phaser damage, so your damage is going to be different with this device. It may not be that useful if you're not buffing for phaser damage, because it is specifically phaser damage. Let me add a button for it first. P, and somewhere in here it shall be. Deploy Elite Defense Satellite. There it is. Let's pull it down and let's put it right here. There we go. That's my new icon. So when I hover over it, it is showing me that with my build, I am doing a 1258 phaser damage per attack when it does the omnidirectional phaser array thing, fire at will thing. So that's how much damage I'm doing with it. 1258 phaser damage. No idea what the DPS is, just that's what the phaser damage is. Now compared to my main weapons, so that's 1258. Compared to my main weapons, I'm doing, let me do it this way. Options, wrong thing. Range HUD, show. Okay, so I am doing 2290 phaser damage on my dual phaser bank. So that's 2290, and this is 1258. So like half of that, half of my dual. So it's more like a single. My single phaser damage is 1761, and this one was 1258. So just a little bit under a single beam array. But it is under a single beam array, so it's not even as powerful as like a one single beam array, at least on my ship. It is more powerful than a turret, but just barely. Because look at that, my turret, okay, is doing, well, I was looking at the DPS, never mind. It's doing 840 phaser, okay, it's doing 840 phaser. So this is doing more than a turret, but less than a single beam. Now, when I buff my weapon power, will that affect it? Actually, I don't have emergency power to weapons on here, do I? Okay, so I don't have that to try. But let's go ahead. I'll buff my power, just power levels. Red matter. Let's use that. So it's 1258 now. And it is 1304 now. So those things do affect it. 1304, but then my single beam is 1825. So things that buff energy damage or energy weapon damage or power levels should affect the satellite. So keep that in mind. You can buff the power of the satellite before you deploy it. But remember, you can't deploy it when you're in just regular space before battle. You have to actually be in combat to use the thing. So let's do that. Let's go into combat. I think one of the easiest things to do is Defensive Starbase 1. Very common TFO, and something that we can use and pull in the Klingon ships with, that satellite. And there's a lot of them that spawn, so that will be really good to use. And you'll see how short-lived it actually feels and is. And if this will launch soon, that would be great. Then we could get on with this. No idea. There we go. Okay, come on. Oh, that's a cool ship. What ship is that? With the, is that the Sona ship? Yeah, I was gonna say Sona ship, like the collectors from Insurrection. I don't have one of those ships. I just never seen one of those yet. That's really cool looking. I don't have any of the Sona ships. That is darn cool looking right there, let me tell you. Look at the way the shadow was reflecting off of the collectors on it. That was cool. This is the part I hate about going into the TFOs on this queue system, is you hit accept, but then no idea, no counter, no timer, nothing to indicate when it's actually going to launch you into it. It could take a random amount of time, and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of something, and bam, now you're in it. Just like that. Okay, I know I complain about that a lot, but it's it's a bad system.
Listen up.
Okay, so as you can see, I wish I could like deploy my thingy before I go into battle so that it's ready, but I can't. Even when this mission starts, you'll see I can't launch it until I physically will have to select a target and fire on the target before I could even deploy it. So just keep that in mind. One of the things about that there. I wish you could preset it somewhere. So for example, now I can launch it because I'm in red alert combat. So there it is.
Target's shield has failed.
Okay, that's the pulling effect. That's the pulling effect.
For evac of non-essential personnel.
But look at that. The explosion killed it. The explosion of the enemy around it actually killed the thing. Now I gotta wait 2 minutes to use it. 2 whole minutes. I can't do anything now. Can't use it. 2 minutes. So that's the weird part about it. Is it pulls in the enemy, great. But the explosion of the enemy kills the darn thing.
Target's shields have failed.
What good is that? It doesn't have a very good health. So yeah, nothing I can do now. I just have to wait till the timer runs out before I can use it again. So just sit back and relax as I wait. I'll try not to kill enemies too fast. I want to be able to use it. That's the other problem, is by the time 2 minutes runs out, you have a lot of enemies already dead. It's like useless at that point. Maybe it's better for a bigger enemy. Something like, you know, a big boss ship or something, instead of a lot of little ones. I don't know.
Target's shields have failed.
But that's how it works anyway. Okay, it's almost done with its cooldown. I don't want to waste it though. I want to use it where there's still a lot of spawns, and I think we're almost done with this first phase, so I'm going to save it for the next phase, I think.
Target's shields have failed.
Yeah, see, there's no more ships going to spawn right now. I'm going to wait for the next wave of spawns to use it. That could be another problem. It's like if I launched it right now, I'd totally waste it, and I'd have to wait a whole nother 2 minutes.
Warning.
There's a break in incoming warp signatures.
Okay.
We may have a short amount of time
Now,
before more arrive.
What I'm going to use it on here coming up is where you have to protect the ships in the lanes. I'm going to put it next to one of those ships in the lanes, and maybe...
Reading some heavier ships
like
incoming.
this ship right
Raiders
here.
and battle cruisers.
Maybe it'll
Target's
protect
shield
this
has
ship,
failed.
you know what I mean? So like if I go down here and put this like down here somewhere, bam, will it protect that ship? Actually, it's already blown up, so the answer is no. Yeah, it's gone. It's totally gone, guys. My satellite I put there is gone. 2 minutes cooldown time. What the hey? What the hey? Can't even use the darn thing. Look, see, it blew up. Blowing all to pieces.
Target's shields have failed.
That wasn't that useful at all. Yep. Somebody has Class C shuttlecraft all over the place here.
An evacuation ship is launching. Give them cover.
Target's shields have failed.
I mean, if I want to do a pull on things, the gravity well's so much better at pulling things. If I really want to pull ships. I don't have to worry about the gravity well dying. It doesn't have a health.
Target's shields have failed.
So we're almost done on the cool off. But I can't really utilize it here well. I'm going to have to wait for the next lane ship. Let's see where that pops up.
Target's shields have failed.
An evacuation ship is launching. Give them
Okay,
cover.
there we go. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to launch the ship. But remember,
the Klingons are
I
regrouping
still have to
again.
be in red alert
Get
for
into
that to
position
happen.
to prepare for the next assault.
So there we go. I was in red alert, so that worked. But just barely. See, now I couldn't launch it if I had waited. So here's the health on it.
Here come the Klingon
40,386.
battleships. Keep fighting.
Let's see what it does. Let's keep a close eye on it. It's firing on the ships. So I'm guessing it's doing some damage. But look how quickly it's taking damage. It has no shields. Look, it disappeared. The 30 seconds is up. That time it didn't even blow up. It just vanished. It didn't even last that long.
Warning, ship is under attack.
I'm telling you, the thing is kind of useless. Somebody else has one too, I think. Yeah, that's somebody else's. That one was not mine. But I'm just saying,
Target's shields have failed.
boy, it does not last long.
An evacuation
Target's
ship is
shields
launching.
have failed.
Give them cover.
Let's give it one more shot on an evacuation ship over here. Time's almost...
Roosevelt is in need of aid. Can you draw off some of those enemy ships?
Yep, I'm on it. There we go. And then I can almost launch it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. It's pulling those ships close to it.
Target's
But then look
shields
what
have
happens
failed.
when you blow a ship up. If it's close enough to it, it will do a lot of damage. Luckily, those were far away. Now it just sits there. Yeah. It will disappear here shortly. There, it's gone. Doesn't last very long, see? That's a very short amount of time.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Well, that's it. That's all there is to that.
That'll hold them off. For now. I don't know how much longer we can keep up with this kind of war.
So there you go. That is how the Prior's World Elite Defense Satellite works. Some problems I have with it are, one, you cannot deploy it prior to being in battle. I wish you could. Number two, the health on it is not very good. It ends up getting destroyed very easily, especially if it pulls in a lot of little ships and they get destroyed by it or other team members right beside it. It will kill it instantly because it cannot handle it. Just cannot handle it. It like has no shields and it has a very low health. I wish it had at least a shield on it. Number three, it only lasts for 30 seconds once you deploy it. That actually is not a very long time. I wish it would last 45 seconds to a minute. And then the cooldown time on it is very long. A lot can happen in 2 minutes, and it seems like you don't get to use it a whole lot in a mission or a TFO because you have to wait for that cooldown time. In 2 minutes, you can, especially if you have a high DPS team in a TFO, you can really accomplish a lot and have a big section of it done. Something like Infected Space Conduit, for example, you could have a whole lot done in 2 minutes there. And then it just is not very useful. Maybe it helps more on big enemies, taking down a gate, a Borg gate, or a tactical cube, or a bigger enemy like that, although I fear that something like that, firing on it, would also still do a lot of damage to it, and it would just blow up very easily. So I like the concept of it. Not so keen on the execution. The concept is very cool. Launch a satellite, a defense satellite that can help you. Awesome. But this satellite is a little glassy. And cooldown time not so good and all that. So, yeah, I don't know the usefulness of it for me. I probably will not even use it. I would rather, let me put it this way, I would rather use my console slots for something more productive than having to take a console slot out that could be for something else to put this satellite in there. I don't see the benefit of removing something more useful as a console slot, as a console, to put this in there. Especially in my tactical consoles. Like, the benefits of this thing do not outweigh the benefits of not having my other vulnerability locator in there. So I would rather have all my vulnerability locators in tactical, and I really don't want to lose any of these consoles that I have in here to put that in here. There's nothing in here that I would want to replace with that. This doesn't outweigh anything I have in here, and that's really the crux of the thing, is that the benefits of it don't outweigh the benefits of some other consoles that I'd rather have in there. See what I'm saying? That's my opinion of it. I'm probably going to stick this one in the bank. Not even use it, honestly. That's where I'm at with it. But that's me personally. For my builds, I just don't have a use for it. I'd rather fill the console with something more useful. So there you go. That is my review of the Universal Prior's World Elite Defense Satellite from Operation Riposte, featured episode TFO Event Reward. Whole lot of words there. Let me know in the comments what you think of it. Are you using it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Was the grind to get it worth it? The 14 TFO commendations and all that. Was the grind worth it for that item? I don't think it was. I think there's an imbalance there. But that's my opinion. Okay, thank you for watching, everybody. Have a lot of fun out there. Thanks for watching. Ooh, look how big. That just amazes me always how big that ship is compared to everything else in the game. I want it so bad. The Enterprise, that is. I want it so bad. Okay, anyway. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for watching this video. Follow me on Twitter at Brent_Justice for video updates across all of my channels. Also help support the channel on patreon.com/BrentJustice, where for only $1 you gain access to Discord chat for all of my channels. Come chat with us. Also check out my general gaming channel, Borg Drone, at youtube.com/c/BorgDrone1 for other game Let's Plays. All of these links are also in the description below. Help me on the road to 50,000 subscribers for this channel. With your support, we can make this happen.